We're in 7.5 solving two-step equations. So the good news is we solve two-step equations the same way we solve one-step. The only difference is there's one extra step. All right, so this is all going to be very familiar to you. It's just a matter of kind of pulling it together to solve multiple steps. So here's what you need to know about solving a two-step equation. I want you to write down the equation 5x minus 6 equals negative 21. So we need to first move what is not connected to the variable. Move the term that is not connected to the variable. So on the side with the variable, my goal is still to get the variable by itself. Which term is not connected to x? Negative 6. So how can I get negative 6 to cancel out? I still do inverse operations. What's the opposite of negative 6? Positive 6. Very good. So I add 6 to both sides. Step 1. This cancels, and I bring down what's left on the left side. I haven't done anything to the 5x yet. Now what's negative 21 plus 6? Negative 15. And this should look familiar. How do I solve for x? Now I divide both sides by 5. X is negative 3. The way I check this is I'm going to go back and plug it back in. 5 times negative 3 minus 6 equals negative 21. What's 5 times negative 3? Order of operations. Negative 15 minus 6 equals negative 21. Use your calculators. And yes, negative 21 equals negative 21. It checks out. So on your homework, classwork, I'm looking for 2 boxed answers. One is the solution. The other one is the checked answer. All right, and that's how we're going to solve a two-step equation. So now let's solve another one. Negative 7b minus 7 equals negative 42. Let's go ahead and I'm going to give y'all some time to start working it out, and then we'll kind of fill in the blanks. What's the first step?
Positive 7 change the negative 7.
Add 7 to both sides. Did you do that?
Yes.
Okay. So step 1 is complete. What do I write under the equal bar?
Negative 7b.
Equals negative 35.
Very good. Now what do I do?
Check. I divide. So you have to
Right, negative 35.
divide it by 7.
Why do I divide? Because that's the opposite, right? Because this is multiplication. B is 5. Who got it? Good job. That's actually pretty good. Do you get it now a little bit better? Okay. So now I come up here. Negative 7 times 5 minus 7 is negative 42. Multiply first. Negative 35 minus 7 is negative 42. Use your calculator to double check. Yes, that's correct. All right. Okay, last one. Everybody gets it. Okay? All right, let's solve this one. Right, what do we do first?
Add 9.
Yep, add 9 to both sides. Very good. Add 9 to both sides. All right, 6D equals 24. What do you do now?
Divided by 6.
Divide both sides by 6. D is 4. Who got it right? All right, good job. Yay, that's what I'm looking for. All right, now 6 times 4, we just have to double check. Minus 9 equals 15. 6 times 4 is 24. Minus 9 is 15. And that's true. So it checks out. Remember on your homework, I'm looking for a boxed solution and a boxed checked answer. All right, so now let's look at example 2. In example 2, it's just different operations, but it's still the same process. So C over 3 plus 13 equals 10. What do I do first? What do I do first? I need to subtract 13 from both sides.
Multiply it.
What do I do? How do I get C by itself? Multiply by the reciprocal. All right, that's not new. You guys remember that. C is -9. All right, not done. I have to go back and check. -9 over 3 plus 13 equals 10. -3 plus 13. Yep, that works out. 10 equals 10. Think you can do one? Everybody get it right? Okay, it's the same process, it's just different operations. Here I have some division and subtraction. All right, go ahead and try this one. So when I add 10 to both sides, what's going to happen? Yeah, it's going to be 0. Multiply both sides by 2. It's more or less a formality because x is 0. X is 0. And yeah, guys, look, when I plug it back in, 0 over 2 minus 10 is -10. Yeah, that's true. -10 is -10. So my answer is 0. I know, it's kind of like a tricky one. You ready to do just a normal one that actually has an answer? Let's do one of those, okay? Last one for this example. As long as you all get it right, no pressure. M over 4 plus 7 equals -7. Right, start by subtracting 7 from both sides. M over 4 equals -14. Negative, that's important. Multiply both sides by 4. M is -56. And -56 over 4 plus 7, -14 plus 7, -7, checks out. All right, and that's it for example 2. And turn in your books to page 343. 343. Okay, so there's a few basic parts to the equation. You know you have an equation. What does an equation always have? Numbers and a equal sign. Okay, start with the equal sign, guys. An equation also always has a total. What's the total? $95. And so everything on the other side of the equation has to total $95 because that's the total cost of the repair. Is there a number or a value in this word problem that would not be affected by how long the job took? Is there a value in there that's not affected by any variable? $35, right? That's the cost of the parts. The parts cost $35 no matter how long it takes to fix the bike. So 35 is going to stand alone. What is affected by the number of hours? $40 an hour. I don't know how many hours. There's my variable. 40 times the number of hours. On your homework, on a quiz, on a test, in an equation, you always have to have a variable somewhere in there that you're solving for. But you see, guys, that's how we kind of piece it together. Start with what you know. Equal sign, okay, yeah, that's a given. Total, and then we backtrack. What number's not affected by the variable, and then what number is, that's the number that's connected to my variable. Now I solve this like a two-step equation. What do I do first? What do I do first?
35.
Yeah, subtract 35 from both sides because that number is not connected to the variable. Now I have 40h equals 60. What do I do to both sides? Divide by 40. So using your calculators, what would that be? 1.5 hours. All right, so what does this mean? Let's do some interpretation here. It means, okay, 1.5 hours is the goal. What if it took longer than an hour and a half? What happens to my total? It goes up, right? I have to pay more than $95. What happens if he finishes it in less than an hour and a half? Okay, it's going to be less than $95. That would be nice. Maybe you buy him lunch instead, right? Since he saved you some money. Okay, so real life application here. This is what happens when people give you estimates. Maybe you take it into the bike shop and they say, yeah, we think it's going to take an hour and a half, so 95 would be your quote. But if it takes them longer, it's going to cost you more. So a lot of times those estimates hopefully are accurate. Sometimes they're not. All right. Yeah, well then I want to take it to that shop, right? You want them to be honest. You got to make sure you're working with honest people. So this is a very direct application to real life. All right. We have to get our cars worked on all the time. So, this is the kind of variable that they use. This is the kind of formula, if you will. All right, so that's everything you need to know for 7.5.